What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Touchdowns to Home Runs. My name is Bernie. Thank you for joining us today on the Touchdowns to Home Runs show. I hope that your day is going absolutely fantastic. Today, we're going to be doing a preview and prediction of this week's matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the LA Rams, and this should be a very interesting matchup. Obviously, a lot of questions still revolving around this matchup, particularly with the injuries on the Rams side. But if you did watch my NFL bracket prediction video, you know that coming into the playoffs, I did have really high expectations for the Rams and what they could possibly do to prove people wrong. But now they got a very tough matchup against the one-seeded Green Bay Packers, so today we'll try and break that down. Now, these two teams didn't play a head-to-head matchup in 2020, so we don't have a particular box score to break down when we're trying to preview this matchup in this upcoming weekend, but these two teams did play 5 common matchups. In those games, the Packers went 4-1, the Rams went 3-2, but it's kind of interesting when you break it down. Green Bay swept Chicago, beat Philadelphia, also beat San Francisco, but got crushed by Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the early part of the season. The Rams, on the other hand, beat Chicago, beat Philadelphia as well, but they got swept in the season series against the 49ers, but beat the Buccaneers, which the Packers didn't. Now, the Rams have a ton of momentum coming into this game, coming off a big, impressive wildcard victory over their division rivals in the Seattle Seahawks by a score of 30-20. And what makes this game so impressive is the amount of adversity that the Rams had to overcome. You know, particularly starting with the quarterback position. Had to start John Wolford in place of Jared Goff because we knew he wasn't 100%, but he takes a big hit in the first half and has to leave the game. Jared Goff has to come in anyways. And sort of when we saw Jared Goff, particularly in passing plays, we could tell he wasn't 100%, wasn't throwing the ball properly because of his thumb surgery. But the Rams still figured a way to score enough points, end up beating this very, very talented Seahawks team, particularly a very talented Seahawks secondary. Big part of that was Cam Akers had just a fantastic game. 28 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. I spoke about it in the post game that I did on the Rams-Seahawks game. You know, a guy who didn't play well the week before this, didn't play 2 weeks before that. And, you know, this is a young guy who's just come into the league. Really, you know, got to be happy for this kid. Cooper, Kupp, Robert Woods led the way in terms of receiving. They had 4 receptions each, but it was really the Rams defense. Pressure on Russell Wilson all night long. Even when Aaron Donald went out in the second half, ended up ending the game with 5 sacks on Russell Wilson, and a very, very talented Seahawks offense was shut down. Russell Wilson was shut down, and I also thought that Jalen Ramsey did a great job locking down DK Metcalf. They were extremely impressive. Again, Aaron Donald went down in the second half. Some guys really stepped up, especially Leonard Floyd. And, you know, this Rams offense may not be terrific, but this Rams defense is one of, if not the best defenses in the NFL. And if they have any chance of beating the Packers in this upcoming weekend, they're definitely going to have to put that on display once again. As for the Green Bay Packers, they come into this game with an extra week to prepare after the bye week last week, after clinching that bye with a Week 17 win over the Chicago Bears by a score of 35-16. And I mean, when you look at the Green Bay Packers and the challenge that it's going to be for the LA Rams, I mean, it's just another step up. You're talking about one of the best teams in the NFL in terms of being good on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we know how much talent they have offensively, but they're just as talented in terms of defense, and they're a fantastic team in coverage. In their Week 17 game, Aaron Rodgers was pretty good. Obviously, not as big of a game for them as it was for the Chicago Bears, but they still really did want to win that game in order to, you know, clinch that first seed in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers threw 19 for 24, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. You know, at the end of the year, come February, he's probably the MVP in the NFL, does a great job of not turning the ball over, does a great job of running this Packers offense. And, you know, again, this Packers offense, very talented. It'll be really interesting to see what that talented Rams offense can do in order to shut that down or possibly not shut that down. In terms of the running game, Aaron Jones led the way, 11 carries, 42 yards. Jamal Williams also got in there. He had 5 carries as well. In terms of the receiving game, Valdez-Scantling led the way, 2 receptions, 87 yards. He had a touchdown. Devontae Adams got in there, 6 receptions. Aaron Jones also had 4 receptions himself. It's a very deep receiving core. And then we got the defense. Now, in this box score that I'm looking at in terms of Week 17 against the Bears, obviously you're playing a Bears offense who is not that talented. We saw what they did in their wild card game against the Saints. But I mean, the Packers really did a good job. Only allowed 16 points. This was a game that Mitchell Trubisky didn't even play that badly. Got an interception. Didn't get too many sacks. I think they only had 1 sack in this game. 1 sack in this game, but they did a great job in coverage. Great job shutting the Bears offense down. And the Rams is very similar to this Bears offense in terms of, they got some problems at quarterback. We don't know how healthy Jared Goff is going to be. We assume he's going to be the starting quarterback. Also, the Rams, we have Cooper Kupp is questionable coming into this game as of now on the injury report. So we'll have to see how that sort of develops later on in the week. Before we end the video, we'll just go over my predictions, particularly on the money line. Again, keep in mind I'm filming this video very early on in the week, a ton of time before this game is actually played on Sunday, so lines could fluctuate quite a bit. At the time that I'm filming this video, I have Packers as -6. I have Packers as -300 on the money line, and I also have the over-under at 45.5. Now, this is really, really tough to predict right now on the betting lines with Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald questionable, because if those two players play or don't play, obviously a huge variation on what the final score is going to be. Probably their most talented player on offense and their most talented player on defense. Assuming both players play, though, I like the Rams here to surprise people a bit. I would assume that later on in the week, people hop on that Packers line, which makes it more towards -8-ish area. And I like the Rams because of their defense to stay within a 1 score. So as of now, I would still probably take +6.5, but I would wait for people to hop on that Packers line, and then I would definitely take the Rams to stay within 1 score. Obviously, I think that the Rams are great defensively. I just think they have too many issues offensively. Packers are great on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, and I just think Aaron Rodgers has looked fantastic this year. So even though I did like the Rams in my NFL bracket prediction video, I am going to take the Packers here regardless of Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp play. But again, I do think it'll be closer than a lot of people think. And then over under 45.5, I'm going to take the under here. Love the Rams defense. Think they're going to do just enough to keep this under 45.5. And I just don't think the Rams will be able to do much this week against the Packers defense. I think they just got too many issues there. And I don't think if Goff plays the same way that he did last week, I don't think they can do that again this week. Plus, we got the Packers on a bye week. And, when you have a talented team like that, that bye week means a ton. So I definitely like the Packers here and under 45.5. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on the Packers-Rams game down in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to take it? Do you think the Rams have a chance to upset, or do you think it's going to be all Packers? Let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to Touchdowns to Home Runs for more game previews and post-game shows just like this throughout the entire NFL postseason. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.